This is the bullshit. If you found a cure for cancer, kind of like some guy, would you market it and undercut the big pharmacos? There is no cure for cancer. Okay? It's a lie. You conspiracy theorists who have very little medical knowledge, you come in and you say, well, there's a cure for it all. There's a cure for it. First, what type of cancer? Talking about a colon cancer mutation that's occurred. Pick your favorite gene, and it's spread and went to a person's liver versus lung cancer versus brain cancer versus a malignant melanoma versus leukemia or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. These are all different things. They're all different mutations. So what? There's one universal cure for all of these things. Cancer is where your cells, they mutate because they divide. And what ends up happening is they get into a state where they do two things. They can hide and replicate. Hide in that your body doesn't recognize them as a foreign agent to be killed, and replicate in that they replicate as much as possible. It's not a conspiracy. It's a fact of life. And there are millions of people around the world who wake up every day, they treat and deal with and try to cure variants of cancer. There is no giant pharmaceutical conspiracy where they prevent a cure from cancer from existing. Okay? Because the very people researching it and running these companies die from cancer. Steve Jobs died from cancer. Okay? Billionaires die from it. Kings die from it. Presidents die from it. The rich and the old. It's the emperor of all maladies. It's 1 out of 4 of us will die from it. 1 out of 3 of us will get it. And it's mostly a disease of the old. About 10% of the cancer cases are under the age of 35, under the age of 40. The other 90% are over, with it growing exponentially as you get past 60 and 70 and 80. And the vast majority of men will get probably something. Basal cell carcinoma, prostate cancer, lung cancer. Vast majority of women will get something. And that's just life. And it's sad because I really do wish we had a cure for it. And I've lost good friends from it. And it hits people in unpredictable times and unpredictable ways. And it destroys people's quality of life. Now, you're absolutely right that there's a misalignment of financial priorities in the pharmaceutical industry. They have strong priorities to look into new variants of chemotherapy that do not necessarily provide a curative outcome, meaning it doesn't cure the cancer. It just potentially increases survivability. So let's say you have aggressive tumors and they're growing, and instead of 6 months, you get 8 months, but your quality of life is the same or worse. That's a drug, and they'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars from that. It's a racket. It's a very bad business that ultimately does not improve people's quality of life. And in many cases, you watch them die. Someone lived with me who had colon cancer, and I watched her die. And the chemo that she got in the last rounds was so harsh that her nails turned black and fell off on her hands. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And that's just the nature of the disease. Now, there's a lot of next generation cutting edge treatments that are coming out. The immunotherapies are really cool because that's where, remember those 2 features, it replicates a lot and it can hide. You take the hiding away. There's targeted chemotherapies where they're inactive to normal cells, but you pair them with something where they only become active in cancer cells. It's pretty cool stuff. I read a paper the other day where they actually use these tiny micro bubbles that would be absorbed by cancerous tumors and then use ultrasound tech to actually explode the bubbles like bombs, little smart bombs inside tumors. So there's an incredible amount of creativity. The mRNA stuff, setting COVID aside, just probably pretty toxic these days. I don't think anybody likes those vaccines anymore. The original intent of BioNTech and Moderna were personalized cancer vaccines using mRNA. And I still do believe there are great opportunities there. And they're very well funded, those types of operations. So it's a complicated topic. And if you want to understand more about it, really educate yourself, there's a wonderful book called The Emperor of All Maladies. And I recommend you read it.